Well, hello and welcome to Wellness by Design today. I'm Jane Hogan, your host, the Wellness Engineer, and today we are talking about, well, something that's near and dear to my heart, and that is menopause. Well, we're going through it, right? So I'm so delighted to welcome my dear friend, Dr. Sharon Stills. Welcome, Sharon.
Thank you, Jane. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
I just love what you do. I love your presence. I love the work that you do. I love the kindness that emanates from you. And yeah, we were friends as soon as we met. So
Soul sisters.
yeah,
That's why I'm so excited for our anytime we collaborate. I'm so excited. I think the same of you. I love what you do. Your story is so powerful. And getting in touch with our breath and reducing stress and getting out of pain. These are all really important pieces that fall into the menopausal journey. And so I became very passionate about helping women transition through perimenopause, menopause. And so just let's get our definitions down. So perimenopause is can be 5 years, it can be 10 years. It's different for every woman, but it's that period of time where the hormones start kind of roller coaster riding and they're starting to get depleted and things are starting to change. And all of a sudden, you're like, my periods are different. I don't feel like myself. My memory's gone. My hair is falling out. My sex drive is gone. My weight is going up. All of these different things. I'm having hot flashes. I'm not sleeping. I'm depressed. I'm anxious. I mean, the list is
yeah.
there's over 100 symptoms happening. And so it's that time where things are changing until you get to menopause. And menopause is just one day. It's the anniversary of the last time you had your period. So say you had your period January 1st, 2023, and then you didn't get it again the whole year, then January 1st, 2024, you would be in menopause. And then January 2nd, 2024, you would be postmenopausal. So we actually spend more time in perimenopause and postmenopausal than we do in menopause, but we say we're in menopause, we're going through menopause, and I like to say we are meant to pause. And it is not a disease. I always get very frustrated that, as a physician, if I'm coding, we have ICD-10 codes that we code for patients, and it makes me frustrated that there is a code for menopause like it's a disease, because it's not a disease. It's a natural transition that every woman is going to go through, and it doesn't have to be a transition full of suffering, which is one of the myths out there, what we've been taught, that, oh, menopause, oh, it's gonna be horrible. I'm gonna feel pain. I'm gonna not sleep. I'm gonna get fat. I'm gonna get dry. I'm gonna get itchy. I'm gonna get just fill in the blank. And so that's why Jane and I are teaming up to say, that is not true.
Let's make this a beautiful thing. So, Sharon, you're so passionate about this. How did you become so passionate about women's health? And you're a physician. This you help women. Is this like your focus that you love working with well, postmenopausal, premenopausal, perimenopausal women? Why are you so passionate about it?
I actually went to naturopathic medical school to become a pediatrician. And I was opened up my doors 2002, so many, many years ago now, after I graduated. And it wasn't that long after that a woman came in to see me with Suzanne Summers' book, The Sexiers.
Oh,
And it was her first book. She's written many. And she was like, I want to do those bioidentical hormones. And I was taken back because I knew Suzanne Summers from growing up watching Three's Company and seeing her as the ditzy blonde. And I was like, oh, she writes medical books now. Okay, that's interesting, but I have an open mind. So I said, give me the book, let me read it. And I read it and I thought, wow, she ain't so ditzy when it comes to this. This makes a lot of sense. And she had gone through her own journey. And so I realized with my training that I could even make it better, more powerful, safer, more comprehensive. And so I helped this woman, And her husband sent me flowers because he's like, thank you for giving me my work back. And she told, that's like the Pert commercial. She told two friends who told two friends, that shampoo commercial, that old
Yeah,
commercial.
yeah, I remember that one.
So I just, all of a sudden, it just got word that, oh, Dr. Stills can help you get younger, feel better, rock your sacred second act. And so it just started becoming very busy in my clinic. And at the same time, I was at that time not even thinking about menopause. I was in my early 30s, but I was suffering. So I had like the worst hormonal imbalances. I had the worst PMS. People used to ask me if I was pregnant and if I was pregnant.
Oh,
And it was like, no, I'm just really bloated and really PMSing and have really, and now I know, have really bad liver congestion and don't have enough progesterone and my thyroid is imbalanced and on and on and on. And so I really am a big believer in practicing what I preach. And so I was watching all these women who were decades older than me, and I'm like, they're getting younger, they're getting skinnier, they're getting happier, they're getting healthier. I was like, I better do something about this situation. And so I worked on balancing my own hormones. And it's a little different when you're in your early 30s as opposed to in your late 40s, 50s, and beyond. But I did the work. I just applied what I was doing with them to what I needed at my hormonal journey stage. And all my symptoms went away. So much so that when I went through my own menopausal transition about 15 years later, I never even had a hot flash. And now I am postmenopausal for 7 years. And I just feel like every year I get healthier and happier. And so it became a passion because I was seeing it firsthand in myself and in my clinical practice and with my patients. And it also became a passion because as I started focusing on it, I learned that the conversation is so outdated. The conversation is so misleading. And so many women are confused and suffering when they don't need to be suffering. So that really lit me on fire. I have to make a change here and contribute because it doesn't have to be that way. I see it all the time with the thousands of women I have, will work with. It's very, I don't want to say easy because getting your health together is never or not always easy, but it can be when you have the right places, when you understand how to look at your hormones, what they do, how to test them, how to utilize them, how to support your body in general, because your hormones live in a body that has to have balanced neurotransmitter and good lymphatic flow and good elimination. And so there's all these other pieces from the gallbladder and the bile and the gut microbiome. But when you piece that all together, then menopause is this amazing, amazing time where you really are stepped in to who you are in your 40s and your 50s and your 60s. You are a different woman than who you were in your teens, 20s, 30s. And it's just about lived life experience. It's just about it truly. I remember being young and I'd hear, oh, when you get older, you'll get wiser. I'm like, okay, whatever. But now that I'm in my 50s, I'm like, it's really true.
we are wiser, and it's a time to be celebrated. And so many people just accept that those symptoms are, normal. It's normal to have all this as you're going through menopause. Like I really love having this conversation on my podcast, and it seems like I have it with a lot of my guests about normal versus common symptoms. And so what would you say about a lot of these symptoms that we hear about? Are they normal or are they just common?
Yes, that is a very good term. And that is something that definitely, I know it applies across the board in a lot of health situations, but I feel like in menopause, it like really, really, it like jumps to the top of the list because we think it's even in our cycles, it's normal to be premenstrual. It's normal to bleed heavy. It's normal to have cramping. And then we just kind of carry that on through to it's normal to have hot flashes. It's normal to gain weight. It's normal to have pain. It's normal to be tired. And I can just keep going on and on.
What we're saying, it's not
And
normal.
it's not normal. No, it's common, but it's not normal. Symptoms are, I call them sacred messengers from the body. And they're just the body's way of saying, hello, something's not right here. So we know how you are, ladies. You just go, go, go. We got to hit you over the head with a hammer. So I'm going to give you hot flashes and make you stay awake all night because maybe you'll pay attention then. And so it's just the body feedback. It's like we can be so disconnected from our bodies. And I'm all about teaching women to get connected, to understand, oh, when I feel this, it could mean this. Oh, when this is happening in my body, I need to look at my X, Y, and Z, whether it's my nutrient intake, my sleep, my stress reduction, etc. But it's just, we're in relationship with these physical vessels. And so I always use the example of a crying baby. When a baby cries, you don't ignore it. You investigate. Hungry, tired, lonely, hurt yourself, dirty diaper. And then you figure out why the baby's crying and you rectify the situation for the baby, and then the baby stops crying.
Yeah.
And so we are just bigger little babies. And so when our body is crying, when our body is crying through the message and the language of symptoms, then we have to investigate.
I love that. I use the same idea with pain as well. It's just the the body talking to us. But through all the messaging that we hear, I mean, I'm thinking even like there's birthday cards that make jokes, right, of losing your memory or having the hot flashes and all that. It's so like normalized that people don't understand that it's a message from a sacred, I love what you call it, a sacred message from our body that's telling us, hey, pay attention. How much do you think like modern lifestyle is having an effect on our symptoms? Because I mean, I don't like 200 years ago were women having all these problems going through menopause. Like it seems like it's worse now. I don't know.
Well, the problem is women weren't living long enough to really experience menopause and spend what can be at least half your life postmenopausal. So part of it is, in a good way, we have a longer life expectancy because of cleanliness and things that we do now, and shelter and so forth. And, we've improved our living situation. And part of it, that there's always like a flip side, right? There's always the positive and the negative. And so with all of this technology and improvement comes all the blue lights that are coming at us, all the EMFs, all the toxic levels that are just keep growing and growing and growing. So it's definitely a combination of what's going on outside and what's going on inside. And I just want to speak to, again, what you just said about like the card and it is. And so I just invite anyone listening to just start paying attention to your self-talk, because my back hurts. Well, of course it does. I'm getting older. Oh, I'm 55 now. And so we have to really I had to do this myself too, because I live in the same society as all of you. I've been brainwashed too. It takes time and effort and a consciousness to say, wait a second, no, that's not true. And that's not my belief. And so it's very pervasive in society that we get old and we become non-functional. And lately, the example I've been using is, there was a woman, I don't know, maybe in her 80s, who was circulating around social media, and she was like doing gymnastics and doing I don't know if it was the uneven bars or parallel bars. And it was like, oh my God, look at her, she's 87 and look at her flipping. And we make that like this amazing, oh my God, that's amazing. And what I want to do is make that normal, where that's not a viral video anymore. So whoever's listening, like you too can be flipping or running or jumping but what in your 80s. We've just been taught and we've been shown, because a lot of the generations before us, they didn't age so gracefully. And so we don't have that visual. We need to become the generation. So I'm so passionate about it, that makes a difference, so that the youngers, whether it be our children or our children's children and so on, they look and say, oh no, my granddaughters call me their bubby, my bubby, oh, like, it's not weird, of course bubby's 90 and going out on a mountain hike, like that's what bubby does. And so when we start changing it, then they grow up thinking the same for themselves. So it's really up to us to have this revolution of what menopause and aging means, and really to change the conversation.
I love that. I love that. And what about stress? So, I mean, women are kind of juggling a whole lot of roles. Look at you right now. You're working, you're a mother, you're a grandmother, you got it all, so much going on. And, a lot of women, working mothers, juggling, the bulk of the household stuff, all of this, this stress, is that having an effect on women as well?
Yes. The other thing, if you've heard me speak before, you probably have heard me say, I think stress is 99.99999999999% of all disease. And it's not just the stress of like the emotion. There's all sorts of stress. There's anatomical, physical stress. There's toxic stress. There's transgenerational stress. There's all sorts of stress. But yes, stress and learning how to dance with it is really crucial in how your life plays out, because unless we're dead, and I don't know, maybe when we're dead we're gonna have stress too, but I just kind of feel like maybe when we die, like the stress goes away and we're just like, oh, whatever your belief is. But I feel like while you're alive, I at least know this: you're never going to get rid of stress. It might ebb and flow, like I was talking about the hormones before, and so you might have higher levels of stress in your life and then it might calm down. But life is about living and surfing and riding the waves, and stress is like waves. It's always going to come and go. Sometimes they're going to be bigger, sometimes they're going to be smaller, sometimes they're going to crash dramatically, sometimes they won't. And so yes, learning to dance, to relate, to respond rather than react to your stress is a crucial piece of healthcare in general, and certainly something that will serve you well as you age.
Yes. Oh, beautiful. Well, I know I feel the same way. Like, especially after I did my summit last year, I felt like I think stress is really the cause of all illnesses. I mean, so much of it. Yeah, if we put like toxins in there as a toxic stress on the body, then all of that really puts our body in a position where it can't like do it all at the same time, and it's just kind of overloaded. So the bucket gets too full, right? So we want to have some tools to like, let's lighten the load in that bucket. So, so you and I, like, we had this conversation one day and we were talking about this and we said, what can we do? Can we do something that's going to be really helpful? And so we came up with this idea to do a live retreat. It's not in person, an online retreat. So I'm super excited about it. I know you are too. And it's called the Harmony Within Meno-Magic Retreat.
Sign me up. Yeah, I think we, because we live far away, but we connect. And I know you run in-person retreats, I run in-person retreats, but we're like, not everyone can make it. Either there's not enough room or they can't take off time. And like you said, we're all busy. But we thought, everyone can take 3 hours on a Saturday in August. Because I feel like August is like probably one of the most stressless months, right? There's no holidays, you're not getting ready for school yet. And join us to be like we are now and be in community, and to really give yourself that gift of not only self-care, but self-love, and to really take some time to say, you know what, this is important for me and I want to learn more and I want to get some tools and I want to be, because if we don't actively take time to do these kind of things, then we just wake up, rinse, repeat, go to sleep, wake up, and we don't change the way we think. So even myself personally, and I'm sure you too, I'm always engaging in these kind of things. Sometimes I'm leading them, sometimes I'm participating. And so we really wanted to make this an opportunity for all of you women who are confused, who feel stressed, who don't know what to do about menopause, who have heard like 75 different conflicting things. We wanted to make it a time where we could come together in community, partake in some amazing activities that both Jane and myself are going to lead, and also learn a little so you can be empowered and kind of march out of there with a different mindset and with different new knowledge.
Mm. Yeah, I'm really excited because it's going to be, well, informative. I know you're going to be talking about some of the myths of menopause, learn more than we did today, but also it's going to be a rejuvenating time as well. We're going to have some energizing type of exercises, some relaxation type of exercises, and some tools that you can take away as well. So I'm really delighted and excited about it. So it's August 5th on Saturday. We'll have a link in the notes so you can check out the link below and see if you if it fits in with you, and if it's feeling like a yes for you. I always feel like, you know, we get these signs and messages, right? So if you're hearing this and you've been thinking, yeah, I'm looking for something, then it's kind of showing up in your, come into your field for a reason. So perhaps you'd like to do that and spend some time with Sharon and I, and feel rejuvenated and move into these Meno-Magic years, right? Magical as they should be.
Exactly. It is really a time full of magic. And I think that we did make it multi-dimensional. We didn't want it to just be us talking at you. We want you to have some activities that you're going to do, whether it's live with us or ideas we give you to go, home with and do homework. Because I think one of the things, I'll share another myth real quick, is that we think, oh, I just need to take the right hormones or balance my hormones or eat the right diet. Am I eating enough blueberries and wild caught salmon? And then everything will be fine. But we are the mind body connection. And I am constantly educating patients who come in and want the right herb or the right hormone. And I'm like, I can give you that, but you got to do all of it's all important. We have to heal wholly and fully. And so that's why meditation is just important as the right diet. And breathing is just important as having the right hormones. It is all it's what I do, it's what Jane does. It is that's how we heal, and that's how we really have the magic during these years. So, and like Jane said, if it calls to you, we made it cost wise, we made it very doable. We want you to have some skin in the game. We don't want, if there's no skin, I sign up for things. If it's free, then you don't go. So we want you to know that you're worth an investment. We made it very affordable for you, and we will have a recording, but it would be really great if you can join us there live and be in the energy.
That's the thing when when you do have skin in the game, you're sending a message actually to your brain that you are important, and understanding that, knowing that we need to have our brain on board to say, I'm important,
Mm.
this is important, I'm worth it. Then like that's a small step, and that leads to more and more steps because you're sending that message to your brain that I am worth it, I'm important, this is important to me. And yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be absolutely wonderful. I'm really excited about it, Sharon. So we will have the links so you can check it out, and we hope to see you there August 5th. It's 10 to 1 Pacific time and 1 to 4 Eastern time. So like if you're on the West Coast, it's going to be your morning. If you're on the East Coast, it's going to be your afternoon, and everywhere in between. So yeah, it's going to be fabulous. All right, Sharon, I always ask my guests this one last question, and I don't know if you're prepared for it or not, but it is, well, the show is called Wellness by Design. So it's all about intentional living, right? Not like willy-nilly, but making decisions and planning and dreams, and, then setting the ball in motion to make those things happen. But it starts with baby steps, right? Always the easiest to start with baby steps. So what would you say is a baby step someone could take today to begin to, normally I say initiate healing in their body, but maybe to initiate a Meno-Magic menopause?
Mm, well, that's a good question. And always I'm like, I have 17 different answers. I don't know. One of the things I was going to say, so I'll turn this in, is looking at, when you're thinking about, oh, if I'm going to sign up for this, and then what comes in is I don't have time.
Ah,
And
yeah.
so I think one thing that you can do, whether you sign up and join us or not, is just really look at, do you say that? What do you give your time to? And can you start to make a conscious effort and connection to how you are giving your time? Because I feel like our time and our health are our greatest gifts.
Mm.
And that's what we really need to focus on, how we're spending our time and doing things that create magic and that are playing into the life we desire. And we'll
Oh,
talk more about that in our little mini retreat that we're doing. But I think, you can just take that as it is and start paying attention. I often have patients do diet diaries, but do a time diary. How are you spending your time? And then look and then review it and say, yes, this feeds into the life I desire, this or this doesn't, and start to really pay attention to how you're spending your moments.
like how often do we, kind of toss away time by, scrolling through social media or just who knows what? And so to really, when you say it honestly, if I say I don't have time, can I really say that's true? Maybe not if I look at things, but I could make time, right? Make time for me. And again, that's sending another message to the brain. I love the neuroscience, so
I love it.
it's
No,
it,
it's so true. And just to add on to your like the scrolling, I sometimes I sometimes scroll through social media too. So like don't be hard on yourself. It's
yeah.
just to start having acknowledgement and to make a choice in that moment mindfully. Okay, is there something I can be doing, or do I really need a 10-minute scroll break because I just need to veg out? And so when you start to engineer, I'll use your word, when you start to engineer your day mindfully, it changes everything.
It does, it does, and I love that. Just that intentional living is changes the game, right? You can change yourself physically by living intentionally. Sharon, where can people find out more about you and the work that you do?
I'm Dr. Sharon Stills, Dr. Stills. You just have to put my name in and you'll have your selection of where you want to find me.
Stills, right?
DRSTILLS.
Okay, yeah. And so you're on, you got your website, you're on social media, all those
Yeah.
places.
Social media, I weave in and out, but I'm trying to be more consistent there. But yeah, I definitely have a website and podcasts, and I host a menopause summit. And so there's plenty of places to find me.
Well, I love the work that you're doing. I love your presence in the world. And I feel like you're just helping so many people. So thank you so much for the work that you're doing. And thank you for being a guest on Wellness by Design today.
Thank you.
Okay, so everyone watching or listening, if you know someone who would benefit from the message here today, please share this with them. Maybe you'll get together a couple of friends and join us on our retreat. But embrace the pause. You can have a magical menopause. It's the best part of life. I feel like I've waited my life for all this time and I'm just really enjoying it. I'd love for you to enjoy it too. So, all right, have a great day, everyone. We'll see you later.